Hey guys, so I don't know when I'm going to post this video. I'm recording it on January 30th. It has to do with what's going on politically with Iran and what happened in Minneapolis. But for now, I just want to focus on what's going on in Iran. So I'm probably going to end up posting this video a month from now because I put my uploads in a certain order. And I've been really busy with other things in life right now. But whatever, I want this to be a recording of my thoughts of what was going on in January in Iran at the time. I find it extremely funny that the president, Donald Trump, has currently surrounded Iran with seven to eight armadas, 7 to 8 ships, battleships, getting ready to basically have a war with Iran. And here we are on, what day is it today? Thursday? Friday, January 30th, right? And I've been seeing my grandfather watch Newsmax, and there has not been a single word on any of this. I find that to be very suspicious. You know, the Newsmax is basically the propaganda arm of Trump, right? A very small propaganda arm, not the biggest one, like Fox News, but it's a pretty big propaganda arm. And yes, CNN is a propaganda arm of the left when they're in power. You get my drift. But I find it extremely odd how we are about to have a war that could be very detrimental, because if we were to commence this war, Iran has made it very clear that even though Israel is holding back, they're acting like they don't want to be a part of what's going on, Iran is taking any action that will be committed by America as also an action committed by Israel. So, if America strikes first, Iran will strike Tel Aviv and Israel. Because let's be honest, everybody in the world, except Americans, know that this is all on the behest of Israel. Right? Americans act dumb, they act like they don't know what this is about. But everybody else around the world knows that we're doing this on the behest of who Trump is beholden to. Now, I've been listening to Judge Napolitano, Gerald Celente, Colonel McGregor, Scott Ritter, a few other people, Colonel Wilkerson had a good thing, a few other people I've been listening to. Another reason why this is fucking serious is because if we attack Iran, no matter how we attack Iran, how it goes, they already have some kind of mechanism where they're going to block the Strait of Hormuz, which apparently we get most of our oil from, a lot of our energy from, and it would cause a global collapse. Now, if this is how it's going to go down, maybe by the time I post this video, it probably already went down. Maybe you won't even see this video because there won't be any way to post it. I don't know. If it goes down, the entire global economy will change, collapse. The oil prices will go sky high. Americans will suffer. Americans are already suffering. They just don't want to admit it now because they're going to keep saying everything's a golden age. The economy is the best it is, even though there's a hiring freeze right now as I speak throughout America. And there's going to be a hiring freeze up until the end of 2026, according to articles that I was reading. The economy is not showing any good signs at all. And also the job market were losses, not gains, and yet Trump said at the same time this is the best economy ever. So they're just gaslighting people still, and they'll continue to gaslight people. Even if everybody was to lose their power, lose all their money, they would somehow convince everybody that we're living in the greatest age of American history, and they would still believe it, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know how this works. Well, I do, but I don't like it, and it's very annoying. This is how propaganda works. It sucks. It's absolutely horrible. What it does to the entire population, what it does to people's perceptions. It even changes the perception you have, even with just your eyes, right? Like what they're doing with this guy Alex Preddy, who got killed by the ICE agents, which is a whole other subject for another video. Now, I didn't do a video for Alex Preddy right away because I just did a fucking video about Renee Good, who got killed, and frankly, I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of talking about it because it's like, holy shit, it's like the same thing keeps happening, and then the same people justify it, the same people don't justify it, the same people see what's going on. You know, it just does not stop. The stupidity does not stop. So this whole thing with Iran, I mean, it's pretty obvious we're doing this on the behest of another country to have some kind of a Middle Eastern hegemony, continue a genocide that's been going on in a certain place that rhymes with plaza, and then we'll build 5-star resorts over it, and then we'll sing the Star Spangled Banner and talk about being patriotic, yada yada yada. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me, any of this. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I know there are many Americans who believe that we have to fight Iran, we have to do this to Iran. They don't even they're not even like, they're even openly saying that the protests that were going on in Iran were backed by the CIA, Mossad, MI6. So they're protests that were artificially created so that the U.S. empire and its ally down there could create a regime change, because the regime that's been there, the people that are there, have been against our empire, our imperialistic expansion. So we need to convert them to be compliant to our current empire. Now, they're not taking into account that Russia, China, Iran are all together, and they are basically creating an alternative way of living away from the empire that we have created around the world, being the police of the world, which I am sick of. I don't understand why Americans are not more vocal about us being the police of the world, and how they're okay that these are the same people who say, oh, we hate spending, we hate the debt that we're in, we hate what the government does, we do not like big government, and yet these are the same people that are going to cheer the fact that Trump is going to take $1.75 trillion of your money, and he's going to give it to the military-industrial complex and make the military-industrial empire bigger and badder than it was before off of you. And you're the same people who will cheer for that. I don't understand this. I don't understand your logic. I really don't understand you people. And then you're the same people who fucking talked shit about guys like Gore Vidal when he was absolutely right about everything he said years ago. Now, I've been listening to this professor who died recently, because Caitlin Johnstone, I read her articles every week for years now. She said he's a professor who died this week. We live in a kind of world where everybody knows who Bill Gates is. Everybody knows who Trump is. Everybody knows who these billionaires, Elon Musk, right? We all know these wealthy imperialists, basically. These wealthy, evil people we all know. But we don't know guys like Michael Parenti. I will add to that, Miss Johnstone. We also don't talk enough about men like Gore Vidal. Now, Michael Parenti is actually very close to what Gore Vidal was saying, but he's a bit more on the imperialistic argument. So I've been enjoying Michael Parenti's old lectures. I've watched most of them. He had something about globalization is the new imperialism. That was a great video. I highly suggest you guys look up that. That was very good. He has the true face of capitalism. Just look up Michael Parenti lectures. You'll find plenty of good stuff. He talks about fascism, everything. Now, I'm not completely subscribed to his ideas, because his ideas say that we need to vote still, and that the voting has not been the vote. Well, he was saying at the time that the voting was being, they were stealing the votes even then. But your alternative was what in 2000? Al Gore, and he's just as bad as anybody. He's bought off by the shadowy cabal. So Democrat and Republican is still not a solution. So that's what Parenti's solution was to the imperialism. But he did openly say that one way would be a tax resistance, but nobody seems to be able to do that anymore. So that's not even a topic, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, this is just my thoughts on Iran. Like, this is just more government spending, more military spending, more unnecessary war. And it's like Orwell said, they love war. They got you loving war. They got you loving death, destruction, government tyranny, because it's your guy doing it. Just like when the Democrats guy, like Joe Biden or Obama was killing all those people with drones. Biden he was pretty much responsible for Ukraine. But although the Ukraine thing has been a build-up since the 1990s, they're all murderous, genocidal maniacs. So the Democrats, they cheer for their genocide when it works for them. The right cheers for genocide when it works for them. So both sides of the equation are genocidal maniacs. That's my conclusion of this video. You let me know what you think, and whenever I uploaded this, I wonder what's going on in the future and how this will relate to what's happening at that time. Thank you for listening.